Good evening, this is Simon Bell from Stone Town Conservatives and I'm in Stone. In fact, I'm actually in Little Stoke by the cricket club, and I'm going to introduce you to a really interesting gentleman who has actually spent 50 years in scouting, and his name is Chris Barlow, and I'm going to introduce you now to him. Chris, good evening, how are you?
Good evening, I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. Right, now we've just been chatting, Chris, about your scouting group, and you've been in for 50 years, and pretty much all of that has been in Stone.
Yeah, started off in Barlowston when I was a scout. My dad was the scout leader. We moved as a family to Stone, and then I continued my scouting in Stone. I've been in a couple of scout groups. I was the district commissioner for 15 years, and now I'm a group scout leader at Ashton, Little Stoke.
Brilliant. Okay, and you're up at the cricket club, Little Stoke Cricket Club at the moment. Now, tonight is the first night back since the lockdown way back in March.
Exactly, yes.
And the parents and children have obviously had a pretty tough time.
Yeah.
Could you just mention how important the parents and your scouts, beavers and cubs are?
That's right, it is a partnership. Obviously you've got your young people, parents and the leader. The parents need to motivate the kids, obviously, to go online and join in the meetings. It hasn't worked for all of them. We've lost only a couple, I think, but it's worked really well.
Now, Chris, you're referring to Zoom meetings there, weren't you, and Zoom presentations.
Yeah.
Just tell us about some of the most fantastic things that have happened in Zoom during the lockdown.
Well, they've had, in fact, they've had speakers, guest speakers, talking about animal care, deaf awareness and sign language, a speaker from guide dogs and first aid, and we've even had an Olympian, Adam Burgess, who was a scout in our group, who's doing canoeing at the Olympics.
Indeed,
He joined us for an evening as well.
And so all that kept the sort of team and the network together.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you're really passionate about scouting, but you've got an absolutely brilliant team of people that support the local beavers, cubs and scouts.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they've worked so hard and it's been so difficult. I mean, if you look around the field now, we've got all these sanitisers and things dotted about everywhere, but obviously last night was the first Cub Scout meeting, which went really well. Tonight is Beaver Scouts, followed by the Scout section, and it's those leaders I'd like to thank: Nicola and Dennis and Kay, Jill, Chris, Will, Cameron and Susan Lloyd, who's just joined us, and I recognise her straight away.
Goodness
Would you
me.
believe? Yeah.
Now, those people are leaders and they help and support the beavers, cubs and scouts.
That's right.
Voluntary, completely free, no issues.
That's right. So Ray, Megan and Patrick, they're with the Scout section, and together with our group chairman, Steve Lewis, and the secretary, Jenny Johnson, we've got here. We're here.
Indeed.
You know,
now
we've arrived.
That squadron leader Steve Lewis, who I've met and introduced me to you, Chris. Now, just so that people understand, if they're not into scouting, what age do the beavers start, Chris?
Well, they start at 6, 6 to 8 beavers, 8 to 11 Cub Scouts, and then upwards from 11 up to 14 Scouts, and then obviously Explorer Scouts, which is the older section.
Brilliant.
Which replaces Venture Scouts. You may remember Ventures.
I do. In fact, I'll tell you what, Chris, when I was a little lad in East Africa, I was born and brought up in East Africa, I actually was a cub, and I attended Baden Powell's, or at least went to his grave.
The memorial,
Indeed. And those values. Now, one of the things that cubbing and scouting is all about is about self-development, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
And what else does it do for our youngsters, do you think?
Well, it gives them confidence. I mean, we do a gang show every 2 years, and I've seen kids go on stage and be frightened to death, and by the end of the performance, you know, they're absolutely full of it. They've got loads of talent, you know.
And the other important thing, Chris, is it's not just young lads, it's young girls as well.
Yes, it's a mixture now, of course it is.
Okay, and we've obviously got the guides as well, very important part of,
the guides
of
as well.
guiding and development.
Yeah.
So Chris, I'd like to thank you because you and your team here are developing young people, giving them a future, and Scouting is a multinational business.
Exactly,
It's got millions of youngsters being developed. So Chris, I'd really like to thank you very much indeed for all the hard work that you've done, and this is Simon Bell from Stone Town Conservatives.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Nice
very
to meet
much.
you.
Indeed.
Thanks.